Just give me one of those. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Riverhead Central School District Regular Board of Education meeting for Tuesday, March 17, 2026. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. Can I get a roll call? Mr. Wallace?
Present.
Ms. Healy? Ms. Redmond? And Ms. Freeborn? And Dr. Gonzalez? Can I get a motion to go into executive session to discuss the employment of a particular person or corporation?
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. A second. Thank you, Ms. Freeborn. All in favor? And the motion passes, and we'll be back at 7 p.m. Good evening. Welcome back to the Riverhead Central School District, March 17th. Happy St. Patrick's Day, 2026 Regular Board of Education meeting. Can I get a motion to return to open session?
Motion.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. All in favor? Motion passes, and please stand for the pledge. Our district clerk has an announcement to make about translation services.
Good evening. If you would like to take advantage of our interpretation services, please see Ms. Cass in the back.
Muy buenas noches, les damos la bienvenida a la Junta Educativa del Distrito de Riverhead. Si necesitan interpretación, por favor, me ubican en la parte de atrás para poderles ayudar. Gracias.
Thank you. We have our student representative report.
Good evening, everyone. Starting off with Acabog Elementary School. Acabog welcomed Ms. Carmen Campos of Puppet Ed back to a beautiful bilingual puppet show and hands-on puppet crafting experience with pre-K and first grade students. Each student created and brought home their very own puppet. Our student leadership team has also been working very hard celebrating Women's History Month by leading morning announcements and creating posters highlighting inspiring women which are displayed throughout the school. Riley Avenue School. At Riley Avenue, students celebrated PS I Love You Day during a meaningful assembly led by our social workers, focusing on how we can be the light for one another and recognizing the light within ourselves. Students also celebrated the 100th day of school by creating projects featuring 100 items that reflect their interests, sparking both mathematical thinking and personal connections. Additionally, staff participated in their second round of inter-class visitations, strengthening collaboration, deepening instructional practices, and building a stronger professional community. Pulaski Street School. Pulaski Street students showcased their talents in mini-mass sketch production of Goldilocks and the Case of the Cheery Singing. Their performance highlighted dedication, creativity, and teamwork, and we thank the staff who supported the successful production. This week, school resource officers will lead grade-level assemblies on digital citizenship, focusing on online safety, responsible technology use, and positive decision-making in digital spaces. Riverhead Middle School. Riverhead Middle School students in 8th grade Spanish traveled to the American Museum of Natural History and as a accumulating experience to their study of the Incas and the Aztecs, bringing their classroom learning to life through real-world exploration. The school will also host its annual Pi Day celebration, where students can participate in a fun school-wide fundraiser organized by student government and the PTO, highlighting strong school spirit and community engagement. Riverhead High School. 20 Riverhead High School students attended the Long Island Youth Climate Summit at Stony Brook University on March 10th. Students participated in workshops and discussions focused on climate science, sustainability, and environmental leadership. We commend our students for representing Riverhead and look forward to the impact of their learning within our school community.
Thank you, Eric. Moving on, we have our superintendent report, Dr. Hagan.
So now it is my honor to introduce Mr. Rodkamp. I think, I don't know, there might be some students up on stage, I'm not really sure.
They just showed up. They thought they were getting food. That's what, as you know, any musician, we work for food, so that's how it goes. Well, happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. And in continuing our celebration of music in our school month, we are going to have a performance this evening from the Riverhead High School Chamber Orchestra under the direction of Miss Regan Burns. They're going to be performing themes from Concerto in A minor by Antonio Vivaldi, arranged by Robert S. Frost. This movement is written in, this piece is written in 3 movements, so there's going to be a slight pause in between each movement, so if you could just hold your applause to the end, that would be greatly appreciated. So, I give you the Riverhead High School Chamber Orchestra.
Dr. Carzano. Let's see you follow up after that one.
I don't think that was fair. Wasn't planning on having to follow such an extraordinary performance. Thank you very much, students. Welcome to the second of 3 planned budget discussions. We're going to just wait a moment so we can have the screen dropped and the presentation loaded. The drama of it all. It's really not going to be this exciting. Okay, so this is the second presentation. This is a calendar of our events, how we're going to proceed through the budget development process. Today, we are going to be talking about the expenditure plan. And I'm going to continue each presentation to remind the community that we have one polling place, which is Riverhead High School, and that decision was implemented last year based on safety concerns and efficiencies. So tonight we're going to talk about the expenditure plan. So we know that our revenues have to equal our expenses, and we know that we have to, the first step in the budget development plan is to find out what our revenues are, so then we can then align our expenditures. So we go all the way to the bottom and we basically work our way up. So the very bottom number in the lower right-hand corner is our tax cap calculation. Our tax cap is 2.9%. I was reminded very early in the process last October that the board's direction is that we would not exceed the tax cap and that we have learned to live within our means, and that was the direction we were going in. So we do our tax cap calculation, and that allows us to have $113 million. Then we go up to the top and we determine what our state aid number is going to be, and then that's $89 million. We think because of our high expenditures in transportation as well as special education, that with our state budget not known, that with foundation aid staying in place, that we're projecting an additional $1 million that will come our way. So we take the 113 million, add 89, add 1 more million, and then we take all of our other revenues. And I spoke about this when I was spoke to the board earlier in March, that we have our pilot payments and all of those other revenue sources. And basically, that's how we come up with how much money we have. We have 113 million, another 90 million, another 15 million. That gives us our number of $218 million. So living within our means means the maximum amount our budget can increase is $7.4 million or 3.5%. So our proposed, go ahead, Vanna. There you go. Okay, so our proposed increase is $7.4 million. That's 3.5%, and that is within our tax cap calculation of 2.9%. So I've spoken about it for a couple of years now, go ahead. There you go. That the budget across New York State, every budget that a school district is adopting within the next 30 days is broken down into 5 different components or sections. When I look at this budget, which is the green stripe coming down, and I go $218 million, does that seem like that's proportionate to where our direction is, which is to improve and sustain programs? And I look at the $7.4 million, and immediately I'm like, yes, we're staying true to what our mission is. If you look at this, the top number of $600,000 for general support, that is to sustain our facilities, our security, and believe it or not, our property insurance, which is escalating. That's $600,000, which is about 3%. That makes sense to me. Everything else, those other three numbers, support the classroom. Obviously, $2.9 million, well, that's easy. Those are our instructional programs. Gen Ed, Special Ed, ENL, athletics, clubs, and all of the other mental health support systems. So that should be about a $3 million increase. Transportation, easy. It's our buses, it's our students. That's an easy number. When you look down at the last number, the $2 million in that term undistributed, which is a really funny word for bonds and benefits. The majority of that is the benefits from our negotiated contracts, our support staff, our administrators, and our CFA faculty. So when you add this up, $7.4 million, $7 million is going to programs, and about $600,000 is going to everything else that supports that. So when I look at this, this tells me this is an instructionally sound budget. So really what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to expand a little bit more on the $7 million. Click. Thank you. All right. So these are our major increases. We have a $2.6 million increase in special education services. Somebody asked me, that's what our budget is? No. That's what our increase is, all right? We have an increase of nearly $1.4 million in special education transportation, $2.1 million increase in benefits, almost $900,000 hitting towards $1 million increase in charter school, and I'm going to expand on that when I come back and speak with the board in April. Add in our property insurance, and then our transportation services for our own students who are educated on campus from home to school. It's about $350,000. So when I look at those six numbers alone, I'm at $7.7 million. That's a little bit of a problem since my budget increase can only be $7.4 million. So that's why if you look at the budget document, you see some natural ebbs and flows, but you also see some decreases in areas that we would not expect. There is, go back. Now I rushed you, Dawn, sorry. Okay, there is one major budget driver that is no longer in our conversation this year. So I'm going to pause that and speak about that in one moment, but go ahead. So I want to go back to special education. We have a responsibility legally, morally, and ethically to educate all children. We do what we're supposed to do. That is our role in educating all children. But when we look at special ed increases of $4 million, and like Dr. C, where does that come from? Well, these are increase in mandated services. It's our responsibility to do that. Increase in enrollment. Not only the needs of our current students, but our new students, and especially our new incoming Ks, where we are extremely appreciative that they are already in support services because we know early intervention works. So we actually have a better handle now in the past 2 or 3 years on our students that will be joining us as kindergartners. But they're coming in as classified new Ks already. And then we have, again, I'm going to take the time to speak to the board again about our lack of physical in-district space. Since we are out of space, many of our incoming students or students that need increasing services, we have no choice but to send them to BOCES. They are appropriately educated at BOCES. It is a correct placement. But I do feel, along with my colleagues in district office and the cabinet and our staff, that if we had the opportunity to bring some of those students back, we've already learned that in pre-K. We've learned by our staff with our students on our campus is the best formula we can come up with. So now, under Dr. Hagan, he has us with a focus of educating our incoming Ks on campus, and if developmentally and programmally appropriate, bringing back some of those students who have been in BOCES settings. That is a big task for us to do. It has to be age appropriate, classroom appropriate, and program appropriate. But that is our focus to address maybe doing a better job more efficiently on campus with some of our special ed needs, special education students' needs. All of that wrapped up, that's in motion now. So we don't have that locked down yet, but we're heading in that direction. But as I stand here right now, The increase in special ed that we're projecting is 55% of my total increase. So I can only increase by $7.4 million. $4 million has got to go right into the 2250 code, all right? So that is a major budget driver right now, and we're very cognizant of it, and we're working to create appropriate programs in appropriate space for our students. So the next slide, I need to talk about salaries, because that is usually our largest budget driver. To look at this and say our salaries are increasing by $777,000, which is less than 1%, don't get used to it. That's never happened before, and it's never going to happen again. But we are able to capitalize on that this year. And why is that? Let me go to the middle line in red. With the board and union in a partnership, we offered a retirement incentive to our RCFA members. That there was a contingency on that there was a certain number of positions in order to be able to offer that incentive. That number was 30. So if we had 30 retirees, we could do this incentive program. That's why that number is negative, because we are taking a very close look at where those retirements are. And in a very natural way, I'm being very careful on my language here, where can we reduce or be more efficient in program and reduce FTEs without accessing a person? So you see this in corporate, we see this in other municipalities. It is a way to streamline your workforce and have reductions through attrition. So we are working in partnership. That has not been buttoned down yet. Everyone stop looking at Greg Wallace right now. He doesn't have any information that I haven't spoken about, okay? So he doesn't know any secrets to tell you, right? But we have to make sure that if we have, I'm gonna make it up, 20 retirements in one content area, we can't take advantage of that. So we are going slow in this staffing plan. We are being methodical, and we can make sure that the plan that we hand to the superintendent and the board, regarding staffing and FTEs, is something that we can carry out and live with. We will have more about that in the April 1st presentation, and we look forward to sharing that with you. But don't ever look for 1% in salaries again, I'm gonna tell you right now. All right, so now employee benefits. I spoke about this a little bit last time we met. When you look at an increase in ERS of $800,000, that is an incredible increase of 25% in our employee retirement systems. Now, what I can tell you is we got basically hit twice. Once is the rate went up, and ERS is obviously our support staff. Our custodial staff, our food service staff, our transportation staff, our clerical, our security. They're all bundled in ERS. So what happened was the rate went up and salaries increased based on a negotiated contract. That's a double whammy. So when your rate goes up by 1% and your salaries go up, we're faced with an $800,000 increase. Remember, special ed already took 4% of the pie. $4 million of that pie, rather. 55%. So now we go, all right, now we have to go to those negotiated benefits. So that hit us pretty hard. We got some relief in TRS. The opposite happened. The rate went down and our professional salaries went down, okay? Because we have X number of less FTEs due to attrition from the retirement incentive. Those two things actually were in contrast to each other. But by having the TRS rate go down, we were able to absorb the increase in the ERS rate. Now I'm going to take you all the way down to that bottom number of $1.5 million. That is the increase in health insurance. We all know, we read about that health insurance is escalating and it's getting a little ahead of us. We're okay. We've planned for this. We don't like it. But the health insurance budget alone next year, one line is $25 million just for health insurance payments, all right? It is a big number. And when I say to folks, well, how much do you think your health insurance cost? They tell me what their 20% is. I'm like, no, that's what you pay. What does the district pay? Right now, for the calendar year 2026, an individual plan is $19,338. So we like individual plans, okay? A family plan for this year is $43,965. There's nothing we can do about that. We do not set the rate, and we're offering, and we agree with the NYSHIP plan. Believe it or not, the NYSHIP plan is one of the best deals in health insurance, even though it's $44,000, because the entire state, we have the efficiencies of volume in that plan, all right? And it is a Cadillac plan. We get it. There's nothing that we can do about that. But one of the biggest fears of a business official is when somebody comes in with an engagement ring. Because I'm going, congratulations, you're going from an individual to a family plan, aren't you? Okay? And my rate goes from $19,000 to $43,000, and I'm still offering congratulations. That's how somebody goes from an individual to a family. They have a partner. We have to abide by that. We don't have a limit. So when that number starts hitting $25 million and the increase is another 1.5, now where am I looking at? 4 million in special ed, $1 million in benefits, pension systems, and another 1.5. This is the situation that every school district and business is facing right now. It is not the salaries that are busting this budget. It is the benefits and it is services. So what we've put together is the best plan we can with those variables that we need to wrestle with. So finally, one of the budget summaries that we put together and that we go through at Cabinet is, let's look at this a different way. So if we add salaries and benefits together, okay, that's $2.6 million. We get it. Let's put in the contractual costs. Oh, that's that BOCES number, which is those children that are educated off campus and those services that we have to pay for off campus. You roll those up, the numbers have to come from someplace, because I can't keep adding. We have to have some negatives and some decreases. So where did that come from? $300,000 less in equipment. Not happy about that. We're going to have to just bear it for a year. $40,000 less in debt service, I'll take it, and $256,000 less in supplies. But we are about people, not stuff. So we worked hard between personnel, instruction, and business, sitting at a table, figuring out we can do with a little bit more or less stuff. We're not willing to do with it with less staff. So that's where we get to the $7.4 million. I do want to introduce one other concept, and I'm very appreciative of the board giving me the first nod on this. I hope that tonight I'll get 7 yeses that we're going to move forward in this area. We have been trying everything we can to improve our facilities. We know that we need to do, we have a couple of projects on the slate. But we are doing so without impacting the tax rate. And that is something that the board I really appreciate you being a proponent and helping me through this plan. We're doing $27 million at no cost to the taxpayers for the EPC. We're doing almost $3 million of kitchen work at no cost to the EPC, or no cost to the taxpayer, because we're using our capital reserves. We did about $1 million worth of work last year when we had a new director of facilities come on board who's very eager to help us. So we have what the board did several years ago was to create a repair reserve fund. We cannot use it for textbooks. We cannot use it for staff. It is in a fund, specifically in a bank account that says, this is to fix stuff, okay? We have about $2.1 million in that. What I'm asking the board is to allow myself and Mr. Martino to, and there's stuff we have to do, it just can't be Mary Ann wants to do this, but we have some legal steps we need to take. But I would like to take $1 million out of that fund now and use it in the 26-27 year to improve our facilities. Because in the EPC, we're going to have ceilings open. We're going to have work done in buildings. It makes sense that some of the projects we need to do, we should do while our walls are open. Why we have contractors already here in place. Now, I will tell you, this is a big undertaking, but I think we now have the shoulders to carry it, because it'll be 27 million plus 3 million in kitchens plus another $1 million worth of work. I do not want $2 million worth of work. It's too much for us to do, even though we're across 7 schools. But it does make sense to start to do some of that work. And then that leaves us another 1.1 when I'm standing here next year and I'm talking to you saying, let's take on that next $1 million the following summer. Now, in order to do that, if the board says, yes, I can pursue this, I will meet with Mr. Martino. We will develop a list for you so that you will know exactly what the projects we're targeting. We have to have a public hearing, and we have to have a conversation about it. This just isn't, you say yes, I go do it. We have some legalities that we need to go through. But it's another $1 million worth of work that we can do without taking the money from program and without raising taxes. So for me, we have a triple win. We don't raise taxes, we don't lose program, and we get stuff done. So that will still leave you 1.1 million to go back to if you have an emergency, or if I stand here next year and say, remember when I talked to you on St. Patrick's Day? I'm going to tag that. When I talked to you on St. Patrick's Day and I told you we have another 1.1, please say yes again. That's kind of the direction I'm going in. I also want to be able to sit here and be true to the taxpayers, that when we go and speak to them and say, you know, we've done $35 million worth of work. We need your support now, but we did get all of this done before we came to you. It's almost like, you know, we have to pony up a little bit before we ask everybody else to. So I'm asking for $1 million in building repairs on top of everything else, with no impact to the tax levy. And that's really a lesson in pay as you go, or prepare so you have it when you need it. And I really thank the board for doing both of those things, because you did that so that now I'm in the position to come back and say, hi, can I have some of that money? So the last 2 slides are, I'm going to repeat to everybody that our budget hearing is in the middle school and our vote is in the high school. So sometimes in May we get a little spring fever and we forget where we're going, but I think for the second year we'll be okay with that. So in closing, thank you very much again for your trust. I take this very seriously for those of you that know me, but we are really heading in the right direction, and I can't thank you enough for allowing me to be a part of that. It's really, Riverhead's a very special place. It does get in your bones. So any questions from the board that I can answer? Maybe you want to talk about repair reserve? You don't want to talk about it? I want you to say, that's a great idea, Mary Ann, let's do it.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
I think it's smart. Well, we have, like you said, the ceilings and the walls open, and the things that are getting done is stuff that you really don't see, but stuff that you need. So I'm looking forward to that presentation, what you have outlined for us.
Okay. I would come back to you on April 1st. With that
Right.
Okay.
I think it's anticipated that when they do open the ceilings and the walls, that we will have a better sense as to what needs to be done. When we're talking about this $1 million, I think that with your conversations with Mr. Martino, you have to keep that in the back of your mind, that you may develop a wish list. It's not even a wish list, it's a necessary list, but that some of that money might need to be earmarked for those surprises that come our way when the ceilings and walls are opened.
That sounds like 2 yeses. I need 4 or 5 more. Yes, that's a great idea, Dr.
That is a yes.
Fasano. Okay. Any questions from the community? No, right? You're all here for this budget presentation? Absolutely. Thank you very much, I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Dr. Cardoso. Do we have any public comments on the agenda items? Do we have any online? No? Okay, seeing no comments, can I get a motion to accept the consent agenda? Motion. Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Can I get a second? Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez. Any questions, comments? All in favor? And the motion passes. Yes. And we just want to congratulations to Ms. Ashley Gabriel for receiving her tenure today. So congratulations, Ashley.
Thank you so much.
Where do you think you're going? We're going over there. We're taking a picture. Let's go. Okay, moving on to new business. Letter A, designation of board members on committee. So, Board of Education hereby amends the July 8th, 2025 resolution designating board members on committees for the 25-26 school year to replace Dr. Julio Gonzalez with Ms. Cynthia Redmond as the board representative on the Health and Safety Committee. Can I get a motion to accept?
Motion.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. A second. Thank you, Ms. Healy. Any questions, comments? All in favor? And the motion passes. Letter B, this is the legal approval of the legal notice for the May 19, 2026 annual budget vote and school board election. And like Dr. Cardasano said, just to remind everyone, it will be at the high school. The public hearing, the budget hearing, will be held on Tuesday, May 6th at 7 p.m. at the Riverhead Middle School cafetorium. And the legal notices will be published 4 times within 7 weeks preceding the annual budget vote and school board election in the Riverhead News Review and the Southampton Press Western Edition. Can I get a motion to accept? Motion. Thank you, Mr. Wallace. A second.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Redmond. Questions, comments? All in favor? And the motion passes. Letter C, this is approval of the second and final reading of new and revised board policies. First one is 1120-E, application for public access to records, the FOIL. 1131, social media commenting policy, that's a new one. 1230, public comment at board meetings. 8121.2, automated external defibrillators, that's a new one. 8130, school safety plans and teams. 8505, charging school meals. 8520, free and reduced price school services. Can I get a motion to accept?
Motion.
Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Questions, comments? All in favor? And the motion passes. Letter D, this is a resolution to approve the acting assistant principal employment agreement. The Board of Education approves the employment agreement with Mr. Daniel Nolan to serve as acting assistant principal of Roanoke Avenue Elementary School from March 20th, 2026 through June 30th, 2026 at a rate of $800 per day. Can I get a motion to accept? Motion. Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Can I get a second? Second. Thank you, Ms. Freeborn. Any questions, comments? All in favor? And the motion passes. Letter E, exemptions of eligible persons under the real property tax law, section 471. This is a real property tax exemption for the surviving spouses of police officers that have been killed in the line of duty. Can I get a motion to accept?
Motion.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Can I get a second? Second. Thank you, Ms. Freeborn. Any questions, comments? All in favor? And the motion passes. Letter F, authorization to require a pilot agreement with Pulaski Street Storage LLC Battery Energy Storage System. So this, we're going to authorize them to require a pilot agreement with the school district. Can I get a motion to accept? Thank you, Ms. Freeborn. Can I get a second? Thank you, Ms. Wallace. Any questions, comments? All in favor? And the motion passes. Letter G, approval of bond counsel and financial advisors. The Board of Education approves the letter of engagement with Hawkins, Delafield, and Wood LLP as the bond counsel for the EPC borrowing. Number 2, the Board of Education approves the letter of engagement with consultant agreement with Munistat Services, Inc. as the financial advisor for the EPC borrowing. That's the energy performance contract. Can I get a motion to accept?
Motion.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Redmond. Any questions, comments? All in favor? And the motion passes. Letter H, approval of internal audit reports dated May and June 2025. And the first one is the Board of Education accepts the internal audit report dated June 2025 for internal controls pertaining to the payroll cycle. And the second is the Board of Education accepts the internal audit report dated June 2025, internal controls pertaining to extra classroom activity fund. And the third one is the Board of Education accepts the internal audit report dated May 2025, annual risk assessment update pertaining to the internal controls of district operations. Can I get a motion to accept?
Motion.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. A second. Thank you, Ms. Healy. Any questions, comments? All in favor? And the motion passes. Letter I, approval of contracts. We have 2. One is a cooperative bid with Ed Data Services, Inc. for various supplies, services, materials, and equipment. And the second is another cooperative bid with Eastern Suffolk BOCES. Can I get a motion to accept? Thank you, Ms. Freeborn. Can I get a second? Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez. Any questions, comments? All in favor? And the motion passes. Letter J, approval of an amendment to contract. On July 8th, 2025, the Board of Education awarded a contract for educational and behavioral services to Excellent Tutoring Services in Rockville Center, whereas Excellent Tutoring Services is able to provide additional services to students of the Riverhead Central School District, and the Riverhead Central School District is desirous of incorporating these services to the current contract award with Excellent Tutoring Services. Can I get a motion to accept?
Motion.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Can I get a second? Second. Thank you, Ms. Freeborn. Any questions, comments? All in favor? And the motion passes. Letter K, approval of contract to provide driver educational program. The Riverhead Central School District entered into a contract with All Suffolk Auto Driving School from Patchogue back on January 28, 2025, and whereas both parties have now desired to extend the term of the original agreement for an additional 1-year term, July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027, under the same terms and conditions. Can I get a motion to accept?
Motion.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. A second. Thank you, Ms. Freeborn. Any questions, comments? All in favor? And the motion passes. Letter L, approval of field trips. We have 2 field trips. One is for a field trip for approximately 30 students in the physics and engineering classes to attend Physics Day on Friday, May 1st at Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson Township, New Jersey, at an approximate cost to the district of $1,754.59. And the second is to approve a field trip for 2 high school students to participate in the Puerto Rico Hispanic Youth Institute on Saturday, April 18th through Monday, April 20th in Albany, New York at no cost to the district. Can I get a motion to accept? Motion. Thank you, Ms. Wallace. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Any questions, comments?
Have fun.
Good luck, have fun. All in favor? And the motion passes. Board member committees? Got audit?
The Audit Committee met on March 4th, 2026 to review several internal audit reports prepared by Meraki Smith LLP and to receive updates on the district's ongoing audit and financial oversight activities. The committee reviewed 3 internal audit reports, including the annual risk assessment update, the payroll cycle report, and the extra classroom activity fund report. Representatives from Meraki Smith discussed the results of these audits and noted continued progress in strengthening the district's internal control environment. The auditors also recognized that administration had already begun implementing several recommendations prior to the reports being finalized, reflecting a proactive approach to addressing audit findings. As part of the annual risk assessment update, the auditors reported that the district currently has 64 operational areas rated as low risk and 28 areas rated as moderate risk, with no areas identified as high risk. They also noted that several prior recommendations have been completed or are currently in progress, contributing to improvements in the district's overall risk profile. Administration discussed corrective actions already underway in several operational areas, including improvements to revenue tracking, payroll documentation and procedures, and internal review processes. The committee also reviewed the extra classroom activity fund audit, which focuses on financial oversight of student activity accounts. Recommendations included updates to policies and forms, improved documentation for club charters and fundraising activities, strengthened deposit procedures, and review of inactive student clubs. It was reported that advisor training sessions and updated procedures have already been implemented to strengthen oversight and improve consistency across school buildings. In addition, the committee received updates on the completion of the comptroller's audit, the status of the federal single audit, and the ongoing education stabilization audit related to federal grant funding. Updates were also provided regarding implementation of the district's Envision financial management system and the timepiece attendance and time tracking system currently being used within the Transportation Department. The next meeting of the Audit Committee is scheduled for May 6, 2026.
Thank you, Ms. Healy. Do we have any board member remarks?
I have the pleasure of attending the Pulaski Street School Goldilocks presentation will play with Ms. Arcuri and Dr. Hagan, and the students worked so hard. They cracked us up the entire time. It was a wonderful experience, and I wanted to thank them for inviting us to come. And I want to wish all the spring athletes good luck in their season, as this week is the first week of games.
Thank you. Any other board member remarks?
I was given the opportunity, along with 2 other Riverhead High School students, to attend the Long Island Regional Student Forum to meet with other Board of Education representatives. After attending the Long Island Regional Forum, it became clear that many districts across the Long Island are implementing innovative strategies to better prepare students for life after high school while improving school culture and mental health support. These initiatives are designed not only to enhance academic performance, but also to prepare students professionally, socially, and emotionally for adulthood. This proposal outlines specific, actionable recommendations based on successful practices in neighboring districts. To start off, we have career readiness and post-secondary preparation. Senior life skills and workforce readiness course. A proposal would be implementing a required senior seminar course dedicated to the adulthood preparation and workforce readiness. Internship and independent study programs. A proposal would be develop a district-supported internship or career exploration pathway for juniors and seniors besides BOCES. Career-focused clubs and pre-major programs. A proposal would be expand career-focused extracurricular offerings to help students explore professional interests early in high school. And finally, an annual career exploration day. A proposal would be establish an annual career exploration day during school hours to increase awareness of diverse career opportunities. College application support and advising. A proposal would be consider implementing a college advisor role or a shared advisor model. Build a structured college application workday into senior calendar. Moving on with student engagement and school environment, a midday Connect Day initiative. A proposal would be introduce a quarterly Connect Day during the school day to increase participation and strengthen school culture. A peer mentorship program. Develop a formal underclassmen mentorship program to support incoming freshmen or students. Course and teacher feedback surveys. Proposal would be implementing structure end of course student feedback surveys to enhance instructional quality. This would be for required courses to get your high school diploma. Responsible technology and AI education. A proposal would be develop a balanced digital responsibility policy and incorporate AI literacy into curriculum to prepare students for modern academic and professional environments. Civic education and voting preparedness. Proposal would be integrate a voter registration education into senior social studies curriculum. Moving on to mental health and academic culture. Student wellness retreats and forums. Host an annual student wellness event focused on mental health awareness and peer support. And finally, faculty mental health training. Proposal would be implementing a district-wide mental health training for faculty and staff. Overall, this proposal aims to support a balanced educational experience that promotes academic achievement, professional readiness, civic responsibility, and emotional well-being.
Thank you, Eric. Yeah. Do we have any RCFA comments?
Good evening. So what started here as a campaign, the charter school had been taking so much money from us and they were just running roughshod over us. When they wanted to do the expansion, the faculty organized, we protested outside town hall. We were able to shut down 2 expansions. They found property somewhere else, but we stopped them twice. And that's the first time in New York State that anyone stood up to a charter school and won. So what has started here has now grown into a complete statewide movement. The board passed a resolution last session, and now they're passed a resolution last session calling on charter school reform. You're now joined by 23 school districts across the island: Island Park, Roosevelt, East Williston, Bayport Blue Point, Long Beach, Port Jefferson, Lynbrook, Sayville, Bayshore, Hempstead, South Country, Massapequa, Huntington, Garden City, Middle Country, Babylon, Locust Valley, Eastport South Manor, Oceanside, Eastern Suffolk Boasties, and Westbury. Yesterday, SUNY Charter announced that Academy Charter is delaying their opening in Brentwood CAI as a result of a lawsuit pending litigation. That lawsuit was brought to NYSET by Long Island Against Charter Schools. And I don't have enough shirts for everyone, but I've got one for the president of the board, and if you give me your sizes, I'll make sure you all get one too. Make no mistake, this is now a statewide, there you go. You look good in yellow, rock that. Okay.
I don't look like a bumblebee, do I?
So make no mistake, this is now a statewide movement. There are 3 bills in New York State working its way through the legislative process right now. There's a bill sponsored by John Liu and Michael Benedetto. It's Senate Bill 77 and Assembly Bill 6112. It's to place the sole authority of charter approval to the State Education Department, removing it from SUNY. Assembly Bill 6884, also by Michael Benedetto from the Bronx, require charter schools to meet the same financial transparency same financial transparency standard as public schools. And just today, we spoke to NYSET Legislative Director Shelley Mayer of Westchester and the Assistant Speaker of the New York State Assembly, Phil Ramos from Brentwood. I mean, these are heavyweights. these are not freshman lawmakers, they are heavyweights, are introducing a bill calling on the approval of charters to go to the voters, which you hear that and like, oh, that doesn't help us. But actually it does, because it's also going to call for the approval of voters for charter renewal. So we went from no oversight, no regulation, to a full-blown pushback. On Saturday, March 21st, at the Belmore train station, from 10 to 12, there's going to be a rally for, sponsored by Long Island Against Charter Schools, and we have already confirmed Assemblyman Ramos will be speaking, and Assemblyman Nate Burrows will be speaking, and we are trying to find other lawmakers. And Ms. Simoes went up to Committee 100 last week to lobby our lawmakers and met with both Senator Palumbo and Assemblywoman Giglio, who are in full support of these bills. So, and it sounds like a victory, right? We've got 3 bills, but anybody see Schoolhouse Rock? I'm just a bill, I'm only a bill. Our work is not done. We still have more work to do. So before I yield the microphone to Ms. Simoes, I'd like to congratulate Ms. Gabriel on her tenure. I yield to Ms. Simoes.
Hi, Jen Simoes, RCFA Vice President. I don't get up here very often, but thanks for the opportunity today. I had so much fun at Committee 100. It's always one of my favorite days. Greg is definitely jealous because he doesn't get to go up. But it's nice to have the FaceTime with the local representatives, because I get to tell our story, and I get to tell how these things actually impact us day to day. So it's a nice opportunity. So I'm thankful for that, and hopefully it pays forward for us all. So I just wanted to talk about something, and you see my Aquabog friends are here today. Thank you. On March 12th, the Aquabog Elementary School experienced a lockdown, which was prompted by a 911 call from the Riverhead Police Department. And both the students and staff in the building experienced this unexpected event that afternoon, which I think for some people may just easily be thought of as something that just we deal with in schools now, right? We do these lockdown drills, and it's just something that we do. But those of us who actually experience the lockdown firsthand know it is significantly different from any drills that we routinely practice each year. The unknown triggers vivid thoughts of grim realities that we have seen happen in schools across the country. The fear of possible physical threat clings to every minute, probably every second, that we sit there in a drill. While we focus our energy and adrenaline on just maintaining calm, protecting the mental well-being of our students, and just making sure that everybody is safe. Because as educators, our number one priority is always safety of our students. We want to make sure they arrive at school safely, that they're safe while they learn, and that they return home safely to their families at the end of the day. So while the Aquabog situation turned out to be best case scenario and ended with the school building being clear and free of any harm, the security of the building and the safety of both the students and the staff, it wasn't an accident, and it wasn't a coincidence that day. Safety happens long before the event even took place. Building leaders, Mr. Miltenberg and Ms. Kenny, they have plans and systems that focus on prevention. The staff and students understand these plans. They're reviewed regularly. There's an expectation of safety above everything else at Aquabog. And these systems support that expectation, whether it's the staff locking the doors, the security guards doing hall sweeps, securing the doors, or an ongoing effort to ensure that all staff has access to communication. So it all matters. It's all the big picture. It's not just that one moment. Safety is accomplished through clear systems and persistent action by the building leaders and their team of staff members. Steps in the safety plan only reach so far, though. An emergency really relies on the systems as well as the swift decision-making of those at the top of the chain of command. Mr. Miltenberg and Ms. Kenny, along with our security team, jumped into action on that day, ensuring that everybody was safe and secure. They used 2 sources of communication to effectively reach all the staff. This kept the staff informed in real time, which for every single one of us we were able to keep the staff
calm, and in turn, the staff was able to keep the students calm. Since then, as needed, the Aquabog building leaders have supported the mental and emotional health of the students and staff, and they've worked to answer every single question and problem solve through any minor issues that may have, that could compromise safety moving forward, that we need to address. So if this happens, again, we know all the little problems have been taken care of. But something that I just want to highlight today that just was seen throughout the halls of Aquabog afterwards is so much bigger than the action plan. And as a matter of fact, it's something that you can often overlook or it just goes unseen. And it's what Mr. Miltenberg and Ms. Kenny, his team, have built for several years now. It can't always be seen from the outside, but he has built a supportive school culture. I think we can all agree it's founded on compassion, positivity, and teamwork. He's built a team where vulnerability is accepted and growth is celebrated. A team where safe disagreement is normalized and I think honored, really, as a healthy aspect of how we solve problems in the building. So all too often, the Board of Education, I think, hears about what goes wrong in the district. So I just wanted to be here with the faculty of Aquabog today to make sure we bring attention to something that went really right on March 12th. And we just want to celebrate the swift actions of Mr. Miltenberg and Ms. Kenny, and his close attention to detail and his ability to lead a team through, at this point, probably anything. So thank you to Mr. Miltenberg and for all the people that, put in to helping that action plan move forward and for supporting us because we were there that day feeling all of it too. So thank you.
Thank you. I would just say that as someone who's been a part of those drills, but I have never been a part of a drill where I wasn't sure if it was a drill or not. I can't even imagine the thoughts that was going through everyone's head with the staff, administration, security team of, am I in a situation where I might have to make a choice between my life and defending my student's life? So I'm sure when it was over, they were all relieved, but that feeling I couldn't even imagine. Every time I've done the drill, I know it's the drill. So I would just commend you and say thank you for everything you do for the students.
As a staff, yes, Mr. Miltenberg and Ms. Kennedy did a remarkable job in security and so forth, but also, so did you. You with the children, taking care of them, doing the right thing, making sure everything was done exactly the plan, and, it was a month of time, and you did that. And that's remarkable, and so I really appreciate it. As I can tell you this right now, I'm very proud to be your superintendent. So great job, everyone.
Do we have any comments from Rob? No comments? Do we have any public comments? Do we have any online public comments? Oh, okay.
As I go, Jasmine Corwin, I just want to piggyback on Mrs. Simoes and being a parent in that school, getting that message. I was actually in another building that day too, and my heart just stopped. But thank you guys. It was amazing. My 9-year-old was at recess and had to go into the kitchen. And that's not something that they kind of practice, so it was new to them. And the kitchen staff opened the doors, let them in. And thank you to Keith, who called them directly and told them, give them food, give them drinks. There's a bathroom there. So, my 9-year-old's like, this is amazing. But being that, this is what they were going through that night, I wanted her to go through all emotionally how it was. And the next day, I asked her, do you want to go to school? Do you feel safe? And she was so excited to go back to school because she was getting picked up early to go somewhere and to the play. And she was having lunch with her teacher. And that goes to show how amazing Mr. Miltenberg and Mrs. Kenny and all of you are with that building. Because even if you were in the hallway, you ran and went into those classes. And I can attest how much of a community this school is, and I'm so sad to be leaving it. But I'm so proud to have my kids there and be on the PTO there and just really have such great support systems. And any questions Mr. Miltenberg or Mrs. Kenny had from parents, they answered everything. And they were available and called and checked up on us that we were okay. So yeah, just thank you guys so much.
Do we have any other public comments? Any online comments? No? Okay. Seeing no more comments, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion?
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Can I get a second? Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez. All in favor? And the motion passes. Thank you.
Please help support the Riverhead Central School District YouTube channel by subscribing. If you are not already subscribed to this channel, please be sure to push that subscribe button and click the bell to receive notifications. Thank you.